far. We were right here. So we were talking about rejections and denials. Was your application complete? For example, typical green card application needs to have quite a bunch of forms. And I'm going to bore you with the form numbers: G1145, G1450, G28, I-130, I-485, I-751, I-765, and I-944. So first, they are looking to make sure, did you submit everything that you needed to submit? Then on every single one of those forms, each single one comes with instructions, and they want to make sure you followed the instructions. If they are asking you to put none, you are supposed to enter none. If the instructions are saying not applicable, you have to put not applicable. Like I was saying, on the asylum applications, they want not applicable everywhere, even when it's supposed to be none, otherwise they are rejecting it. Is the information accurate and consistent? They are going to look, for example, on one specific form and another form, and make sure the dates of birth match, the addresses match. If one is caps and one is lowercase, they will not like that. Was it signed everywhere where it needs to be? Typically, you're supposed to sign in the box where it says petitioner or beneficiary, and that's about it on every single form. No, now they want the last page is signed. They want to make sure that if there is an addendum, you need to sign that as well. Then they want to see if it was sent to the right place. Did you submit it to the proper that you submitted to the proper lockbox, the proper service center, wherever that specific application needed to be, based on the type of case, based on your physical location, based on your prior immigration and criminal history. Was the right fee attached? Here's the problem with that. Sometimes they want separate application and the biometrics. Sometimes they want those two checks in those two fees into one. Sometimes they don't want to see all the fees in one. If you also applied for the green card application, for which you have a biometrics fee, and the work permit, they don't want them combined together. Sometimes they just want the I-130 and the 485, but it's, you know, you hope you have the proper procedure. We are up to date with all of their latest requirements, but they change them sometimes in those that two-week period from the time they receive the package and the time they are actually opening it. So every once in a while, we do get rejections. Was the documentation complete to proceed to step 2? Frankly, if there is going to be a rejection at this point, it usually is because of these reasons. Something that is incomplete, missing documents, the right fee or the right location, wrong fee, wrong location. If any of those are missing, the package is being rejected and sent back. Now, it depends on how you look at it. This could be good, this could be bad. If it's a rejection, they typically do not cash the checks, and they return the application exactly the same way they received it, including the checks. You have an opportunity to fix whatever the error was and resubmit the application. You should submit with brand new checks, but most of the time you submit with the same checks. That being said, if the law has changed, for example, the public charge rules were implemented on February 24th, and the requirements, including the form numbers and everything, was going to change February 24th. If you submitted a package before February 24th and it was rejected right after, you really have to start work from scratch and redo the entire package, because it's different forms, different requirements, different instructions, different fees, different everything. So sometimes it's good to get a rejection because at least they didn't cash your checks and then they denied it because something is missing, but a rejection is not always good. As attorneys, sometimes we can file applications that we ask that be considered non-protonc, meaning from the beginning, from the first time, predated to the day that it was initially submitted. USCIS is not very fond of that. Sometimes we are successful, not all the time. But let's say you pass that part and they like your application the way it was submitted. You pass the biggest hurdle first, okay? Then if you do that, then they are going to send you a receipt. So let's talk about